Okay, UVTV motherfucker. I'm at the Kid Spiritualize and Do This for My People. On God. Neon nigga fella me in. Today I'm gonna be talking about there's no such thing as having spiritual enlightenment due to your religious standpoint. Now just in general when it comes to enlightenment, right? Enlightenment is just an awareness, attention span, being broad minded, knowledge and culture, right? So based upon that enlightenment, it's like some age of enlightenment type of mentality and stuff like that. Because this is really where all this shit be coming from. That age of enlightenment type of mentality, that scientific revolution type of mentality, all those different things based upon things being westernized. So like from these things being, I hit my fucking leg, but like from things being westernized just in general, based upon that enlightenment, if it's more lightened, so it's like something that's lightweight, so it's not something that's heavy and hard to handle and stuff like that, because it's, you know what I'm saying, like emotional baggage, or it's a lot of things that come with doing that thing and stuff like that. So are you willing to take that responsibility to keep that contained and have that fruit that you want to bear, all that type shit, based upon that big idea or the things that got accumulated from that thing overall, just in general. So when it comes to that enlightenment, right, it's gonna be a lighter perspective for it, but for it to be light in general, right, it's got to be something that had to be created or substantial, that has a lot of essence and substance based upon the importance. And just in general, we like to have more awareness, more knowledge when it comes to things. Now knowledge is no ledge, so it's no shape and form. So from it being knowledge, it being no ledge, it's balance, it's endless. So that's like creativity and awareness at the highest scale. That's why when it comes to allegories, that's why when it comes to figurative fiction and stuff like that, we're taking things that are make believe and we making people believe in it. So it's like crafting a story, and then based upon that story, it creates the history. But to get there, we have to understand the mystery behind the mystery. I mean, we have to understand the mystery behind the history, and that leads to things like occultism and mysticism and stuff like that. So it's just about learning about the overall awareness at the highest scale, all the way down to mythology and stuff like that, because that's still an awareness. Because if there wasn't if there wasn't something like that in existence, then we wouldn't be aware about it. So that's what it is at the highest scale of learning all possibilities, which is God. God is just all possibilities, the highest potential of something. It's basically like all of creation. So if it's a part of creation, all the way down to the lot of shape and form of it, a thought and idea, there is something like that. It's just hasn't got condensed into the flesh, into the physical, and a part of the external world, but there is something like that. And we're trying to take that mind matter and create it into something that actually matters in the physical and make it like a means to an end type of thing, just in general. So it's like, if it's part of creation, if it's something in existence, it's something that's an entity that lives on its own, and we're turning that into deities and deifying it and stuff like that. Not y'all getting lost into God and looking at God like a deity, like a god and goddess, and get lost into that realm of reality of how they look at the world. It's just the overall world and the atmosphere of what we all creating together, all in creation, the universe, something that's universal, not this universal in the flesh. No, something that's universal, as in someone can make up that dying idea to make that a thing in the first place. Someone can make up that story. Someone can make up that belief system. Someone can make up that creativity. Someone had to create it in the first place. So there is some essence and some substance behind that in the spiritual realm, in the esoteric realm, and then we're making that a part of physical. So we're taking things that are non-physical or immaterial or incorporeal, and we're making it corporeal. We're making something that's unseen and we're making it seen. We're taking something that's mysterious and obscure that we don't understand, and we're trying to find a way to understand it, which is really just overstanding something. So just in general, when it comes to religion, right, because all these different things add on to, you know what I'm saying, well, I'm about to talk about when it comes to religion. This what it leads to, basically like arguments and stuff like that about religion and being religious compared to spirituality. So from your spirit being your space, and it's incorporeal and it's immaterial, right? Your spirit is your space. It's like your creations. It's your state of being, your state of awareness, and your state of existence, right? So if it's something that's an awareness or it exists, it's an attention span around it. So based upon what you're paying attention to, that's what you're focusing on. So you're like in a state. So based upon the state, like we have a state, and us being part of the United States and stuff like that, right? We're a part of a nation or a country and stuff like that. And then we have different states of being. So Georgia is a certain state of being. New York is a certain state of being. Being in California is a certain state of being. Being in Illinois is a certain state of being. And it has different cities and towns and stuff like that. So everyone's kind of like in their own world. They don't want y'all to look at it like that based upon colonization, capitalism and stuff like that, colonization and capitalism and stuff like that. But everyone is kind of like in their own world for real. You know what I'm saying? Like you go to the South, it's a certain atmosphere or worldview perspective there. You go to the Midwest, it's a certain atmosphere and worldview there of how things move naturally and stuff like that from an overall perspective. And you could try to cover that up, based upon things being substantiated, based upon societal norms and stuff like that and civilization. But it's always going to start with the starting point of the culture. It's going to start with the starting point of how I got created in the first place based upon that atmosphere in the first place. Now, when it comes to America, it being a big ass melting pot, that got created after the fact. Before that, it was just Native Americans running around in their templates. So we run out off of their template, just doing it in a new way, which leads to what we got now when it comes to different doctrines, dogma, religion. And the difference between religion and spirituality is your space, and your individual space is your soul. So you have your own perspective and your own point of view, and all of our points of views together, all of existence, right? That's all of our spirit. So it's just the actuality of believing in something beyond just yourself. I have my own space, you have your own space. I have my own mind, you have your own mind. I have my own state of being, you got your own state of being. I got my divine nature, you got your own divine nature. So it's like that. And if you up under my divine nature, you're part of my divination. The same way how we use divination when it comes to tarot cards, astrology, and stuff like that. But it's still a divine nation. But someone had to create a nation for it to be a divination that people can utilize. So it's like a technology, a tool, or a device that can be utilized in the external world. So from it being something that can be utilized inside the external world, that's when it leads to things like divination. But someone had to create that nature in the first place and look at it as sacred, and look at it as godly, or look at it as something that's beyond or greater than you and stuff like that. Something that's pure. So based upon it being pure, it's something that was creative. And then that's it. It's being creative and creating your own way of how to do it, not getting lost into other people's perspectives and creations. Now, y'all can be in the same state of being. Y'all can be a part of the same civilization. You can be a part of the same culture, same background, same outlooks and stuff like that. And then y'all can build off of that with like-minded individuals. Now, when it comes to religion is just a real legion. So from it being a real legion, it's a real legion of people, culture, civilization, practices, customs, traditions, or whatever, right? It was a real legion of people who did look at the world in a certain way, but it got remixed. It got revitalized, it got remixed, it got capitalized on, it got commercialized, it got commodified. And then that's how people confuse religion with spirituality. Something that's more religious is based upon idol worship and a deity or God-fearing and stuff like that. Even though they have different things like, monotheism and polytheism and stuff like that. But it's them trying to turn those things and make y'all look at that as God when it's just a deity. Only in that realm of reality they God. It got nothing to do with the overall God. The overall God is just all possibilities. You just getting lost into what that person, place, or thing, that entity, that deity, my fault, that deity, how they made it possible for them, but you're getting lost into the idol worship, the adultery of their way of how to do it. And then the minute you go against that, that's when it turns to things like you being God-fearing. That God is going to put you in a sphere of reality of you being unsure because they want to keep on feeding into their way of how they did it. And in a minute you go against that and you try to figure out your own God and goddess type of energy, your own capabilities, and you don't give your power away and be lost into that idol worship. So you taking your space, your spaceship, and you turn it into a warship and you end up going to war for someone else's shit, right? That's you taking away from your own people. You know what I'm saying? That's like you taking away from your own creativity and your own capabilities and you're giving it to somebody else because you rather give it to them instead of you understanding what you're capable of when it comes to your talents, your gifts, and what you're naturally good at, and your perspective and your piece. So it just turns you into like a prayer warrior. So from you being a prayer warrior, you don't learn the actual way of how to pray. Praying upon something like P-R-E-Y, not P-R-A-Y. P-R-A-Y, it means giving your power away to something. And P-R-E-Y is like you being the hunter. You being the person that's praying. You know what I'm saying? It's like you being the spiritual predator, not on some R. Kelly weird shit. No, you being the spiritual predator of you attacking something or you enticing something. You know what I'm saying? It's like an eagle going after a goddamn snake and it lifting it up in the air and stuff like that, and it's going to eat it later, all that type shit, or drop it or whatever. It's like you praying upon something and you know how to bombard, you know how to attack it the right areas so you could take it for yourself and claim it faster before someone else is able to take it and claim it and stuff like that because of your powers and abilities and stuff like that. You was able to fly in the sky and attack. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? Like spiritually speaking, you was able to accomplish a goal and go after that ability or go after that gold faster than someone else. Because overall you was able to attack it, but you know what I'm saying, you was able to be more fresh or early, or create a situation where you could be put into that position or get recommended, or people look at you because you're more seen for that compared to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And closed mouths don't get fed. You made yourself more seen, like, yeah, I'm trying to do this. This is my passion. This is what I can do. This is my talent. This is my, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to do this. Support me, help me out, this, that, and the third. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not no begging type of energy, but you get what I'm saying? Like, you don't know how to be a spiritual predator. So you being a spiritual hunter, you don't know how to harvest in the right areas and stuff like that. You don't know how to find some new goals, some new fruit to bear. So the minute we start going through that fall and winter time, you know what I'm saying, like allegory wise, from a micro scale, right? You don't know how to go about it in a micro scale. The micro scale will be harvest season, or us going through the ends of summer and going to fall time and stuff like that. And you was able to take the things that you brought to life and harvest all the good qualities from it, to where that is full of maturity, and then now you have food and crops and you know what I'm saying, different animals and stuff like that that help you survive during the wintertime when things are cold, dead, and distant and unalive, and you able to survive during that winter. AKA that's like you not being frozen, or you not getting caught up in translation. You didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you making things easier for yourself, so you're gonna get the hard part already done with. Basically, it's like, that's like the simplest way to put it. So based upon you having a religious standpoint, that's like you getting caught up in someone else's space. You get it? You getting caught up in someone else's spirit that's flying around, and then you're like glorifying or praising that spirit, right? And I'm not trying to say there's something wrong with praise, but it's when it turns into idol worship. You can acknowledge someone's abilities and what they did, but then when it turns into idol worship, like I just said, right? It's like you get lost into what they did, and then you end up forgetting what you can do and stuff. You get lost into someone else's creations without realizing you're a creator, you're an observer, and you create your own reality and stuff like that, because you wouldn't have your own mind right now then if you wasn't doing that already. So we already know what the fuck we doing. It's just we get lost into the lookership of stuff outside of ourselves. And then that's it. To where we end up forgetting the internal energies, and we do things from the inside out, not from the outside in. So as above, so below, as within, so without. So we're putting our things, we're making things above the horizon, not above, like, oh, us looking at the sky and all that type stuff, and it's gonna be some big ass man in the sky or whatever, right? It's like as above the atmosphere, what it's doing on a lighter scale based upon the different mechanisms of the circadian rhythm, and you know what I'm saying, dawn till dusk, spring, summer, fall, winter, birth, life, death, and all that type stuff. Different, you know what I'm saying, like there's different ways of how you could attack it when it comes to the allegories I'm using right now, right? But it's just you understanding the space that you're in, and that's your spirituality. You believing in something beyond just yourself. So that's the actuality of putting yourself in a whole bunch of different spaces. So you can put yourself in a whole bunch of different spaces and still be yourself. Basically, that's all spirituality is. So when you gain more intelligence or gain more awareness and more attention span, and you can take that attention span and focus and concentrate on it long enough to where it turns into attractiveness, you know how to draw attention, because that's all attractiveness and femininity in general. That's all that is. You're drawing attention. You're able to pull people or entice people or allure people to what you're paying attention to. You know what I'm saying? You're able to put someone in a certain emotion and feeling. You're able to charm them. You're able to enchant them to make them put whatever they paying attention to, focusing on, and think otherwise so they can pay attention to what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the feminine energy just in general. So you able to draw people to your charisma. You're able to draw people to your shit. You're able to draw people to your creations and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's always like that magnetism and stuff like that, because doing something based upon attention, you don't really give a fuck if people are paying attention to it or not, because it's an internal energy thing before it becomes external. So if you have a lot of attention span or awareness, you don't really care about showing it. It's just, yeah, you're aware. It starts to turn to attractiveness once you learn how to utilize your power. You can draw people to what you're paying attention to and what you're aware about. And then that's when it leads into energies like that. Now, when a motherfucker start being attention seeking, it means you lack awareness, because it means you're trying to find something when you already got it, basically. It's like you just have to be yourself. You doing all the superficial shit, all the extra shit is not even needed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even needed. Because if you so good and you so talented, you wouldn't have to do all that. You wouldn't have to find it, and you wouldn't have to seek for it. It would just happen. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll be natural. It'll be pure. It won't have to be prepped up like you're trying too hard to appeal to people and stuff. So that's all that is. So when it comes to religion, that's what they're doing. They're trying to make y'all pay attention to what they're doing. They're trying to show, oh nah, this is what it means to be a part of the Lord and Savior and believing in God and stuff like that. When no, they're trying to make y'all be under something, understand their scholarship, understand their doctrines, and make y'all indoctrinated. Understand their institutions and stuff like that, so you can get institutionalized instead of you making an institution or you making an education system, you making a scholarship, you making a curriculum, you making a spiritual practice, you making a culture. They're trying to capitalize off of other people's culture. That's all religion is. It's just a remixed, revitalized version of what spirituality is. Someone who is actually in that space, an actual culture, an actual civilization of how they looked at the world perspective, right? And then they're trying to capitalize off of it. And then it turns to things like religion. So they're trying to remix it so they can make it universal, so they can make other people a part of it. So the people who are basically controlling that sense of spirituality, right? So you can look at them like they're God, but they're the ones who control it. So it's like some egomaniac type of thing. It's like they're trying to be God itself. Like they're trying to be the deity itself. Like you can only look at it in this way, but spirituality is you can look at it in a multitude of different ways. It's all possibilities. So that's why it's important to believe in everything, but not believe in anything. All the way down to how my channel is even constructed and stuff like that. When you I'm talking about astrology and spirituality, and I have a lot of commentary on a whole bunch of different things, but that's what it is. Commentary about a whole bunch of different things. I'm aware about everything, but I'm not just believing in just one shape and form. It's going to be back behind spirituality, where it's like, oh, I want to see the actuality of that essence. I want to see the actuality of that space. I want to see the actuality of what it's like to be in that perspective, or creating your own way of how to look at it. Once you get lost into someone else's enlightenment, it's like you trying to gain understanding, but you never gain overstanding. You get it? So it's like you're always below the horizon, understanding, instead of being above the horizon, overstanding. Because if you was overstanding it, then like if it was something that actually had some spiritual knowledge and essence and importance and substance and stuff like that, right? They will put you in a position to where you can learn how to create something for yourself. That's how you can tell the difference when it comes to a religious motherfucker who's doing it for a certain, you know what I'm saying, validation, expectation, energy and stuff like that, to have power and control over you, compared to an actual spiritual motherfucker that actually willing to give you game that you can soak up so you can do something for yourself and probably do it better than they can. That's how you can tell the difference when it comes to a religious motherfucker, a goddamn atheist motherfucker, because they really the same thing. A religious motherfucker, an atheist motherfucker, an agnostic motherfucker who unsure and stuff like that. So from the fact they're in fear and they unsure, that's why they self-projecting, oh, you have to fear God because this, that, and the third. No, you're just self-projecting that you in fear of a motherfucker not being a part of what you got going on, and you uncertain. So you trying to make up different things another motherfucker got to be in fear about, so they can worry about your safety and security that you done set up, but it's really just manipulation. And based upon that manipulation, you're still showing your true state of being. Because even when you lie, you're still showing your true state of being. It's just you're using those different spiritual cloths, aka emotions and feelings, to cover it up. It's like insecurities. So you have to manipulate it. You have to nip it in the bud. You have to nip certain things in the bud to make it so you can't get certain access points that people can feel secure in, to where they have to look for you for that security and safety and stuff like that. Like, bro, it go deep. Like that's how they think. But like, those who lack knowledge will perish and just cause more confusion. That's how they think. So they set up different scenarios to make it so you feel like you lack enlightenment if you're not religious, or you're not part of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? If you're not a Buddhist, because everything considered religion is just them remixing it and capitalizing off of a group of people who thought in a certain way. How can we remix and commodify that so we can make some tax dollars off of that shit? I'm talking too fast. Make some tax dollars off of that shit and make money off of it, just in general. And then it just make motherfuckers more confused, because it get them out of their own state of being, their own spirit and stuff. And it's a motherfucker trying to control your spirit, or control your space, and control your outlooks, and control your worldview so you can be in their world. And then that's it. So if you meet a motherfucker who want to overstand some shit, right? They're so over it to where they're able to give you the little shit. You know what I'm saying? If it's a motherfucker who just trying to make you understand, no, they's really trying to put you under something so you can be under their knowledge, but you can't create your own way to go past their knowledge and stuff like that, unless they understand it first, and they got control over that bitch too. You know what I'm saying? Like, That's all that shit is. There is no such thing as spiritual enlightenment due to your religious standpoint, because you always gonna make a motherfucker understand.